Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is June 29th, 2021. This is episode 346. Lady Baltimore. And the name of the arc is The Witch Queens. This is coming out from Dark Horse. This is number 4 of 5 in this series, and it comes in at a whopping $3.99. Now we got I'm not sure what her name is because there are so many witches in this, but she is the Witch Queen. She's got her ravens around her, obviously. She wears this kind of wrought iron candelabra crown. Now, there appears to be another witch that's kind of trying to take over for her, but I'm not sure she's the only one that's not vying for the title of lead witch. But anyway, things have really picked up in this. Let's see who worked on this. This is a Mike Mignola creation. The story by Mike Mignola and Christopher Golden. The art is by Bridget Connell. The colors are by Michelle Madsen, and the letters by Clem Robbins. Cover art is Abigail Larson. So we'll take a quick look at this. Now, for the most part, I have been enjoying this. I'm going to recommend this, but it is a little confusing. Just want to get into that. It's a little all over the place, erratic. There's changing locales. There's a lot of characters that kind of come and go. And we are dealing with a couple different locations right now during this story. So they have gone to, I believe it's a city either in Czechoslovakia or Poland, where they are trying to get this stone golem to help them fight the witches. Now, this stone golem, many centuries ago, protected this particular village by killing thousands of witches. And the power of this witches are embedded in the ground. You can see the skulls here from the witches that were killed. So they do finally talk the townspeople into taking the golem with them because they know it's a total witch killer, and they're dealing with so many witches in this story. Now, the story is not one that lacks action. There is a lot of action throughout this, and a lot of this, what we find out here is Father Rigo, who apparently had feelings for Lady Baltimore, but she would not run out with him. She kind of thinks he's a coward, but he has been hanging around in this instance, helping out. Now, it turns out he's double-crossing them to get the stone golem out of the city. Once it is removed, the witches have now flown into the city, and they're pulling up the spirits of the dead witches before them to gain their power as well. So they're getting just more and more powerful. Meanwhile, the stone golem has come back to life because he has been brought out of the city limit, and I guess he senses the witches. As you can see here, we got a number of witches coming in with this airplane into the city as well. And the witches are in league with the Nazis. So we've got like two huge factors that were just a handful of people are taking on here. Now this is where we find out Rigo is actually a double crossing them as he shoots Charlie. He shoots one of the other women in the group. I think her name is Charlotte. And maybe this wasn't Charlie. Maybe this was somebody else. Maybe she calls her Charlie. And then Imogen is able to, who's their witch that's on their side, is able to protect Lady Baltimore. Meanwhile, back in England, they have a witch, Yelena, under the control of Enor the Warlock, but suddenly all these other witches have snuck into the cellar and attacked Enor, who I guess has been resting for many centuries. He has been brought back to life. So they're trying to get down to the cellar to help Enor out. However, at the last minute, he's able to show them that he is indeed powerful, and he has taken them down after a bit of a struggle. So you can see she's entrapped, and the other witches have moved on. These two actually leave a little bit early because they think everything's under control. And they go back to the Czechoslovakian village. You can see the Red Queen, the Blood Queen, I think they call her, and this is Adolf. So, meanwhile, back to the village, the two warlocks there are trying to protect the rest of the city, and they're putting plans up to stop the witches. However, they're overpowered by just a sheer number of witches. There are just witches all over the place. You can kind of see them here, and the Nazis are there now too. So they have raided the city. They got all the gold the city had, and now we get the main witch, who has been, I guess, recently resurrected, if I recall correctly. So she's still kind of just bones mostly, and she sees that this other queen is trying to upsert her power up with the ring of witches there. So she shoots up there and challenges her back, as you see here, and this German witch takes her place in the circle as well, and they start to bring up the powers of the dead witches. They get the upper hand on Father Rigo, though, back outside the city, as the stone golem is taking down the other gunmen that were helping Father Rigo. And you can see suddenly the witches are over them as well. So it's not going well. They're over the city. They're over the small group, Lady Baltimore and her friends that are still alive. Father Rigo actually gets the upper hand again. In the meantime, a spirit has been summoned from within the city, and it's Krina. Her name's Krina. She is clad in night, and she has some relationship to the stone golem named Joseph. So it's just this crazy, just all over the place. It was a little hard to follow. I'm hoping it's going to wrap up really well in the last issue, so I'm sticking with it. It is still, like I said, a recommend. As you can see, the witches are now spewing their powers all over. The Nazis are all marching in, and they've begun to attack Poland with the witches' help as well. And we see these planes and witches flying over the English Channel, going to England, and we've got this strange sea monster now that's arrived as well. So it's not going well for the group that are trying to fight off this witch invasion. So we'll see how it happens in the next conclusion. Let's take a quick look at what else we got from Dark Horse. We have North Mythology. This is coming out from Neil Gaiman, however you want to say it. Arts by P. Craig Russell. I think there's been a couple issues of this already. This says it's the second arc of the acclaimed series, but I think on the second arc there's been at least one or two issues already. Parasomnia. This is Cullen Bunn writing this one. Doesn't really give you an idea of one man's path through a walking nightmare. So that's what we got on that one. Then we get a letter from the publisher. This actually looks kind of interesting. The Secret Land by Christopher Emgard. Cosmic horror from the creators of The Whispering Dark. So I might be checking that one out. We'll have to wait and see on that. So thanks for stopping by and watching this review of Lady Baltimore, the Witch's Queen. This one does qualify for now for getting the good excavating seal of approval. It is action-packed. The art this time around I don't think was as good as has been in the past, and I wish the colorist was a little bit more imaginative on some of these things. These pages are actually pretty good, but some of this other stuff is pretty bland, a little bit on the dull side. So there you go. Thank you for stopping by. Please like, please subscribe, please leave comments. I don't have anything left for the rest of this week, but tomorrow's new comic book day, so hopefully I'll pick up a few comics tomorrow. And I don't think I'll have time to do a review tomorrow, but on Thursday I'll be back at it. So, as always, this is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes, bidding you adieu.